Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Camnet News. My name is Amazing Katamanda. Let's take a look at the stories that I mentioned in the headlines. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI justifies his statement on the death of OBED KASONGO. A political activist claims BOWMAN LUSAMBO'S apology is a political gimmick.
The trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the...
She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Thank you for staying with us, and now the news in detail. Political activist Dante Sanders says the apology by Kabushi Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO to President Hakainde Hichilema is not welcome and cannot be accepted. Mr. Sanders says the Zambian people suffered under the former Patriotic Front government, and that those who committed crimes should first face the law before they can be forgiven. More in this report.
Where BOWMAN LUSAMBO is now, right at the moment, is come down to earth to drink water with us. And weather is going to be the same. When he's filled himself with water, he may fly back up in the sky again thinking he's big. This is a good lesson for politicians. Today they can be talking a lot, and tomorrow they are going to be mixing with us.
It's true.
This is what these politicians, BOWMAN LUSAMBO, I cannot accept his apology, because once he is full again and he thinks that HH is controlling the ACC, DEC and the police. That's what he thinks by apologizing to HH. But it's not going to work. The people of Zambia will never forget what he has done to us.
Good nice.
He must go through the courts of law. And when he is brought to book, if he wants to apologize after that, when he serves his sentence, then and then only, I will accept his apology.
Patriotic Front presidential hopeful CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI has charged that he never accused former Lusaka Province Minister BOWMAN LUSAMBO that he was the one responsible for the death of OBED KASONGO, who died in 2019. Addressing the media Lusaka Wednesday 25th May 2022, Dr. KAMBWILI says he has suffered for so many court cases and that it would be reckless of him to allege that Mr. LUSAMBO was behind the death of the late Kasongo. More in this report.
Immediately arrest and charge BOWMAN LUSAMBO and this group for premeditated death. The man was hacked.
Close to 3 years after this statement was made, Patriotic Front presidential hopeful candidate CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI has refused ever accusing embattled Kabushi Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO for being the one responsible for the death of OBED KASONGO. OBED KASONGO, who was the opposition National Democratic Congress National Youth Chairperson, died after the Ron by-election in 2019. It was reported that he was attacked and robbed and died 2 weeks later in May 2019 from the said injuries he sustained during the attack. Dr. KAMBWILI had on several occasions spoken about the same issue, given the fact that Mr. Kasongo was a member of his party, the NDC, before Dr. KAMBWILI left his own party and rejoined the Patriotic Front.
Kill them. But stupid. Anina na motoka. Ilo ba ile police, aisa BOWMAN police. Bamba no kutintana na OBED alemwe bat ni wangu minefi. Monefi unde pawili. Ba police bakano kuikata BOWMAN.
However, Dr. KAMBWILI has received backlash over an article he is alleged to have stated that the late Mr. Kasongo died of malaria, not assault, allegedly perpetuated by Mr. Lusambo, says he will not be subjected to court defamation, adding that he has not at any point ever said that Mr. Lusambo was the one who killed the deceased.
And at no time did I say that BOWMAN did not kill or attack Kasongo. The only thing I said was that the postmortem which is there indicates that OBED died of malaria. And obviously, you don't expect me, when there is a postmortem report indicating otherwise, to go to the police and allege that BOWMAN LUSAMBO is the one who killed the OBED. Because that would be tantamount to defamation of character. I have suffered so many court cases, and I would not be so careless to go and say BOWMAN LUSAMBO killed Kasongo, even after the postmortem report indicates that he died of malaria.
The Zambia police says the matter involving the death of Mr. Kasongo has been forwarded to the National Prosecution Authority for a possible inquest holding.
The Zambia Police Service would like to clarify that the matter involving the death of OBED Kasongo, who died after having been allegedly assaulted in Luanshya, has been forwarded to the National Prosecution Authority for a possible inquest holding. We are urging the public to exercise restraint concerning this matter as the due process of the law takes its course.
Meanwhile, Dr. KAMBWILI, who commented on various issues affecting the nation during his press briefing Wednesday afternoon, says the United Party for National Development administration will not pass the 5 years mark if the high cost of living is not addressed.
The mistakes that you are making today, you can't see them because you are the people who are making these mistakes. But the people outside, like me, are seeing your mistakes. And when we advise, listen.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Democratic Party President Haikalaba has charged that it will be difficult for Zambia to attain economic freedom on account of prioritizing foreign investors at the expense of empowering Zambians. Mr. Kalaba regrets that most productive sectors of the economy are in the hands of foreigners 58 years after independence, while the country continues to grapple the high debt levels. More in the following report.
25th May is marked as Africa Freedom Day, and the biggest question has been, 58 years of self-governance, is Zambia economically free? Zambia, just like many other African countries, still depend on donor support to finance its development, regardless of the fact that Zambia is the second largest copper producer. Almost every sector in Zambia is highly dominated by foreigners, be it the tourism industry, manufacturing and mining. The Democratic Party leader, Harry Kalaba, feels there is need to change if the country is to attain economic independence. Speaking when he featured on a Camnet program dubbed The People's Verdict, Tuesday 24th May 2022, Mr. Kalaba underscored the need to take proactive steps in order to benefit from the booming electric vehicles industry.
How will you benefit? Because when you talk about the vehicles being propelled by electricity, the European Union has said in the next 20 years, they are going to graduate from using diesel or petrol propelled vehicles. They have said they want to now migrate to using electric vehicles. One of the biggest components of electric vehicles, do you know it? One of the biggest components is cobalt. You are right, Soko. It's cobalt. Zambia is producing cobalt today. Zambia is producing cobalt from Luana. We are producing cobalt from Mopani, from KCM, from everywhere. But do you know that Zambia doesn't even stock anything as in terms of exports, in terms of cobalt? We don't record nothing. Zambia doesn't export cobalt, and yet where there is copper, there is cobalt. How come we are not exporting cobalt? We are only exporting copper. This is why we have said ourselves, a body like MEMACO, which was in charge of seeing that every company or every mining house which is exporting, MEMACO was overseeing to really be sure about the exact quantum of what is being exported.
And the opposition leader is saddened that Zambians are being displaced by foreigners from their land.
Here in this country, we have allowed them to own land and begin selling land. When we come into government, we will not allow a foreigner, and this I say it without any apology, we will not allow a foreigner to own land in this country, but we will allow them to lease so they can empower Zambians. They are free to go and rent a farm. Maybe lease is a different. They are free to go and rent a farm. They are free to go and rent a small holding. They are free to go and rent, not to own. Title must be in the hands of a Zambian.
And Leadership Movement Deputy Secretary General Chalwe Chandalala says the issue of land among Zambians must be given serious attention as Zambians risk becoming foreigners in their own country.
Today, what's happening in our country, we are not happy about it, where our grandmothers, our grandfathers, or Zambians at large are becoming squatters in their own country. Foreigners are easily accessing land compared to Zambians. Today, Zambians are easily being evicted on their land just to pave way for foreigners to invest. We as a leadership movement under the leadership of Dr. CHISHIMBA, we are saying enough is enough. We need to make sure that we give land ownership entitlements to Zambian people only.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News.
A 35-year-old man of Lusaka's John Lenge compound who was recently accused of assault by his wife has denied being violent, claiming that his wife is the one who assaulted him. On the 15th of May 2022, Regina Piri, 29, a mother of 3, reported her husband to a community human rights organization for physically and emotionally abusing her and for accusing her of being a prostitute. Speaking in his defense, Richard Piri says his wife is the one who assaulted him using poles and flayed with their household property. More in this report.
In a surprising turn of events, Richard Piri of Lusaka's John Lenge compound, who was recently accused by his wife, Regina Piri, of assaulting her, has refuted some of the claims advanced by his wife of 10 years. Meanwhile, Regina Piri, who first appeared on Camnet TV on the 15th of May 2022, insists that her husband is the abuser in their marriage. Dark shadows and few cut is what has been left on her body after she accused her husband of 10 years for allegedly assaulting and using kitchen pots before he resorted to using punches on her. Mrs. Piri of Lusaka's John Lenge compound says she has continued receiving threats from her husband's relatives despite Mr. Piri being released on bond after she got him arrested. Narrating her predicament, states that her husband's family does not want her to take the case to court, but they should resolve the issue. Her cry is that the abuse that her husband of 3 children has put her through is beyond, hence the need for them to separate. However, a challenge is how she will survive, as she has no means. Meanwhile, speaking in his defense, Mr. Piri has refuted claims advanced by his wife and discloses to this reporter that it was actually his wife that assaulted him and ran away with his property.
hata naenda ndiye mwene nachokerapo seni nakwera alapo anikomera mnyumba naite kwanya loko ndiye manje kuzipeza ati niende kunipumule pa nyumba aende nitanira wakapokola ndiye kunienda ngene kama zote.
And Concerned Citizen for Justice and Human Rights Organization has bemoaned the increased level of gender-based violence among women.
We are very much disturbed that members of the family to the husband's side, they are busy condemning the woman to report the matter to the police. The victims, they don't need to be victimized. They need to be supported and protected. So we are very much disturbed because there is increased number of cases instead of reduction. I think we need to do more.
According to the country's first quarter of 2022 gender-based violence, 6,915 cases were reported countrywide compared to 4,254 recorded in the first quarter of 2021, of showing an increase of 2,661 cases, translating to 62.5%, with Lusaka province recording their highest. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
That item brings us to the end of our Camnet TV News, but before we go, let's take a look at the stories that made the headlines once again. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI justifies his statement on the death of OBED KASONGO. A political activist claims BOWMAN LUSAMBO'S apology is a political gimmick. Those are the stories that we had for you on our Camnet Midday News. Thank you for joining us. My name is Amazing Katamanda. Good afternoon.